relationship between literature and religion is a complex and ever-evolving one. Throughout history, writers and religious leaders have been known to borrow from each other, and each influencing the other in a very profound way. It's African Literature on the NTA, Africa's largest television network. Nena Basi is my name, and it's my delight to have your company. Stay tuned. Today's package will take on literature as a tool for admonition.
Religion and literature are intertwined and share common themes and philosophies of life. The influence of religious thoughts and concerns are still being globally reflected in various genres of literature as it bears a constant appeal to life. Some have been arguing that literature should be judged according to the moral standards and that there was no relationship between religion and literature. However, the value opinion of T.S. Eliot finds that religion and literature are part and parcel to each other and emphasizes the need to analyze a work of fiction not only linguistically but also ethically and religiously, as the great works of the world's literature roots from theology. Femi Lanre-Oke, in his piece, The Labor That Counts, expresses his imagination based on his religious beliefs.
The Labor That Counts was written because like I told you, I'm a destiny coach and I want people to fulfill destiny. I know that many people could be doing many things that is contrary to what God wants them to do or what they are designed to function in. So you could see people doing something zealously, passionately, and that is out of the design. So in helping people work according to design, so I decided to write the book, The Labor That Counts, so that your labor, your effort can count, can be rewarded, so that you don't labor and it's not recognized because it's contrary to your design. Get something to do. And I discovered life is not just about getting something to do, it's about doing what you are called to do. So that's inspired and motivated me to writing that book.
Purpose, calling, and the role of enemies in destiny fulfillment are some of the key themes in the work.
Book I spoke about purpose, and how to discover one. I spoke about callings, the different type of callings. I said, okay, some people are called to be prophet. Prophets are different kinds of prophets. And just like I mentioned, I said some people can be music ministers, and you need to now know where you are called to function. We have music ministers that have music in their 2 fingers who play the guitar. We have those who have music in their 10 fingers who play the keyboard. Some people have music on their legs, they play the drum sets. Some people have music in their hand, they compose the song. The person who composed the song may not even know how to sing it. Yeah, another person have music in his tongue. And those who have music in their tongue, they sing in different. Some people sing encouragement, some people sing comfort, some people sing motivation, some people sing to address one need or the other. So it is not sufficient to just say, oh, I'm a music minister. You just need to know what is your lane, what is your path. You could say, okay, you have an assignment to children. We have children in different categories. We have children of the orphans. That's one set. There are children of the less privileged. That's another category. We have children of the wealthy who are not properly taken care of. So you need to look at, okay, this is my own area. And if everybody will clean his compound, the whole community will be clean. So by the time I stay in my lane, you stay in your lane, we'll solve all the problems and we'll be living a more common.
Lanre-Oke gives a clear-cut difference between calling and career.
A calling into leadership. Not everybody is called to function in that administrative role of leadership. Of course, today we have positional leaders, people who become leaders by virtue of position, not because they have the attributes. They will say everybody is a leader. That's true, and everybody is a follower. But there are people who have that specific calling into that responsibility. So we have your career and your calling. You must understand it. There are people who have their career and calling in one thing, and there are people who have their career and calling separated. A police officer a man can be a police officer, And that police office work, law enforcement work, is a calling to him. So in his assignment, he has the calling and the career. Then you can have a police officer who is an author, and his calling is to write, maybe write inspiration, write revelational things. So his career has become policing. His calling is now writing. Yeah, but there are times that the two is merged into one, that the police officer is going to work, not even just for his career, but it's also going into his calling. So not everybody is called. Some people are called to be drivers. Everybody drives. But there are people who are called into that assignment. So they will be called, they be drivers to specific people, maybe some anointed, some leadership positions. It's a calling.
This space is targeted at the young generation.
Particularly, I'm writing to the youth. My understanding is that the youth are the people that have more life ahead of them than they have lived, than they are living or they have lived. So I wrote to the youth who can still take advantage of the opportunities of life.
Discovering one's purpose in life is essential.
Abraham started destiny at 75. Yeah, never too late. Yeah, so you could. I read electrical electronics in my first degree. I have my master's in information technology. And then I did my PhD. In fact, by the time I was doing my master's in marketing and sales, I was already almost finishing my PhD work, and from Rome Business School. So they were wondering, why am I interested in marketing? And I said, I just love marketing, because I know that everyone in life, no matter what in your journey, you have something to do with either selling things or buying things. So if you don't know how to market, you have problem. Even as a preacher, I must know how to market Christ. Yeah, so it's either I'm selling things or I'm buying something. So I needed to know the nitty-gritty, the laws that governs buying and selling. Because there is no way if you're on earth, you either buy or sell. So I decided to do the master's in marketing and sales. But then what I'm trying to say is that my first degree was in electrical electronics, master's in information technology. I did PhD in organizational development, change management. But practically, I can't say maybe I'm doing anything with electrical engineering today. So I have my academic whatsoever, but I'm pursuing my calling. I'm interested in destiny fulfillment for people, so I'm a destiny coach. That is what prompted me for my PhD in organizational development. I wanted to, okay, this thing has something to do with human and whatsoever, so I decided to go into it. So when I finished organizational development, I started looking at masters in human resources again. That, okay, I want to master the heart of human. Then as I was looking into masters in human resources, I was thinking, okay, maybe I should go into something human psychology. Maybe it helps me better. So I decided to even take some courses online on leadership psychology. I want to know how to deal with human beings, how to relate better with human beings, the human culture, the cultural behavior and things like that, because of my calling. So I started with something that has to do with science and technology innovation, but as I proceeded, I found my calling and deviated from what I started with. So it's never too late. You could start whichever way and find out that calling was dragging you, then you pursue it.
The author gives insight on how to identify individual calling in life.
There are several ways. Like in the labor that count, I think I wrote about 10 ways you can find out your purpose. The ultimate is when you ask God about it. There's a type of prayer they call the inquiry prayer. When you ask God, what is your plan for me? What do you want me to do? That's the inquiry prayer. And of course, beyond that too, you could have your potentials, the problems you really desire to solve, what gets you irritated, what you hate, what you are passionate about. It could be science, but the ultimate is when you make an inquiry. I used to tell people that the first 5 people in your journey, the quality of their life, if nothing happens, the quality of your own life cannot be greater than the quality of the first 5 people in your life. And so the people you attract around you is a signal about where you yourself are going to. The people you relate with, who they are. If all the people in your circle are business people, there's something around business around you, either consciously or unconsciously.
He sheds light on the title of the work, categories.
When I talk about laboring accordingly, I'm talking about in the concept of knowing what you are designed for and working in it. I believe that destiny is like a book, and chapters we keep. Each day of our life is like a chapter of the book. So when my life, my acts, and what is written concerning me align, I'm laboring accordingly. So because there's something they call the doctrine of predestination. In other words, before I was formed, I was destined to. be this. I was predestined that this will be my journey. So when what I'm living for aligns with what is written for me, I'm laboring accordingly. Yeah. So for example, I can be doing many good things that are not right for my life, for my journey. That is why knowing who you are helps you know who you are not.
Calling for Lanre-Oke are different categories.
You know, there is a high call. Paul in the Bible says, I press towards the mark of the high call. So there is the high call for a believer. There is the low call. And I believe there is the middle call. So you could have somebody, for example, whose high calling is business, whose low calling is pastoring. So that guy will do better, a businessman, even though he has a calling to pastoral. So if he comes to church now and is a pastor, he teaches more business. 4 ways to prosper in your business on Sunday. He's operating in his high calling. His high calling is business. His low calling is pastoring. So you see somebody whose high calling is pastoral. He's talking to you about holiness, about righteousness, about the kingdom, about salvation, and telling you about faith, and telling you about prayer. He's operating in his high calling. But the other guy, he also has a calling to pastoral ministry. He's called, but that is a low call. But then his high call is business. So even when you now make him function in his low call, he still brings his high call into it.
Speaking on the importance of laboring accordingly and the roles of enemies, he says,
there is no accident about destiny, actually. Everything works together. Your enemy is part of the people to make you fulfill destiny. And if they are absent, your destiny may even take longer before it happens. So there are people today who are successful in their life because they don't want to be mocked by the enemy. And because they are scared of being mocked, they decided to step on their toes. There are those today who know God more because of the torment from their enemies. That if their enemies were absent, they would have been too relaxed, and the potentials they discover will have been missing in their life. So the enemy play critical roles in destiny. In fact, the enemy is one of the people you have to guide you when you are about relaxing. So by the time they pick on you, you know that, oh, I've relaxed too much, I need to pick up again. Some of them, they want to make jest of you. Some of them want to make mockery of you. And so you're building your best. So they're part of the journey. So I spoke on the enemies, even you discovering yourself, making yourself know that you are here for a role. There's a purpose of God for you. How do you identify that purpose? This is what your enemy. There's then the roles of people, other people also in your journey, relationships that are critical for your lifting. Even the enemy does not know how the help they are doing in persecuting. There are some revelation we have today because the enemy brought us bumper to God. So we learn fasting, we learn prayer. There are places we don't want to fall because we don't want the enemy to mock us. There are things we don't want to happen. You see some people, they talk to their children because they don't want the enemy to mock. I say, I need you to be this. Those enemies didn't know they are doing us good. And we need to see it from that.
Femi Lanre-Oke describes himself in these words:
a philanthropist and a teacher of God's word, destiny coach, and an author.
To craft a rich, layered narrative that will afford your readers the opportunity to engage in close reading and deep thinking, then our next literary segment will be of help to you.
Paralysis is a rhetoric device that is used in creative writing to intentionally omit something from discussion while nevertheless implicitly drawing attention to it. It is a technique that is commonly used by writers to add emphasis to certain aspects of their writing. The beauty of paralysis lies in its subtlety, but not directly discussing a particular topic or issue. The writer creates a sense of intrigue and mystery that can entice the reader to read on. This technique can be used in a variety of ways in creative writing. For example, It could be used to hint at a character's hidden motives or to suggest that something important has been left unsaid. Alternatively, it could be used to create a sense of tension or suspicion by suggesting that something is being deliberately concealed. The term paralysis comes from the Greek word paralepses, which means passing over. The word developed from the combination of the Greek terms para, or aside, and lepin, which means omit. Paralepsis has long been a prevalent literary device used by writers to entice readers to dive deeper into their prose and to add depth and complexity to their stories in such a subtle yet powerful way. Here are some examples of paralepsis in African literature. In Ainkwe Arma's The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, he says, I will not speak about the corruption that has eaten into the very fabric of our society. But this phrase is a clear example of paralysis, implying widespread corruption without directly stating it. In Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, when Okonkwo says, I will not speak about the affairs of my father's house, when he is actually drawing attention to the very thing he claims not to want to discuss. And finally, in Ngugi wa Thiong'o's Devil on the Cross, the narrator mentions, I will not say that the devil was present, but this is also a clear example of paralysis, hinting at the devil's influence without directly stating it. Importance of paralysis. Paralysis draws attention to something while pretending to ignore it, creating irony and emphasis. Paralysis allows authors to address sensitive or controversial topics indirectly, adding depth and complexity to the text. It engages readers. Paralysis encourages readers to think critically and fill in the gaps, making them more active participants in the reading process. It enhances characterization. Characters' use of paralysis can reveal their thoughts, feelings, and motivations, making them more relatable and human. By employing paralysis, authors can craft a rich, layered narrative that rewards close reading and encourages readers to think deeply about the text. In paralysis, we are reminded that sometimes what is left unsaid can just be as important as what is said, and that the art of omission can be just as powerful as the art of expression.
Arts Composition segment today takes a look at an administrator, a religious leader, a prolific writer. The list is endless. Now let's meet this individual with many parts.
In life, it is not all labors that will count on the day of reckoning. The labor that counts by Femi Lanre-Oke is a clear insight to the fact that not all labors will be rewarded, as some people's labor are not in accordance with the blueprint of the Creator. Femi Lanre-Oke is an exceptional, vision-driven and highly focused professional engineer and a life coach with strategic specialties in administration, education, information communication technology, fraud investigation, community development, and corporate social empowerment. Femi Lanre-Oke is a graduate of Electronic and Electrical Engineering. He holds a master's degree in Information Technology from the Ladoke Akintola University, Ogbomoso, Oyo State. He also has a second master's degree in Marketing and Sales from the Rom Business School, Lagos. In 2019, he was awarded a Doctor of Science DSc in Information and Communication Technology from the Commonwealth University in Dubai. He has his doctorate program PhD in Organization Development from the Southeast Asia Interdisciplinary Development Institute, Quezon City, Philippines. His certifications spread across various areas including fraud examination, project management, risk management, leadership team development, and many more. He is a member of several institutes and professional bodies, including the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, among others. As a strong advocate of self-development and education, his non-governmental organization, Still Waters Foundation, has and continues to sponsor several indigent students from primary through the university level of education. As an avid speaker, reader and writer, Femi Lanre-Oke continues to speak as a life coach and leadership development expert in several empowerment seminars and meetings. He has also written several books, some of which are Giving Birth to Your Future, The Labor That Counts, Spiritual Leadership, Provoking Supernatural Increase, and many more. Femi Lanre-Oke hails from Ekiti State, Nigeria, and the presiding pastor at Jesus Praise Evangelical Ministries International JPEMI in Abuja. He is happily married to Busola Lanre-Oke and blessed with 4 lovely children.
Today's package cannot be brought to a close without us allowing you draw inspiration from Africa's wise saying. Coming up shortly is one, but before then, I'll say, engage yourself in ventures that count. Till next time, bye.